what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so people say like, okay, yeah, like Biggie didn't really have it as bad as he tried to make it seem, and like blah 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 blah, and like, oh, he's fake because he's always talking about this and that. But like the thing is, it's like when we're talking about the first album, Ready to Die. That album is like a fucking movie. Mm-hmm. Like it's literally like I didn't watch CSI and Law and Order and shit. I would listen to that and I would see it in my head, and it's like. There is, probably like a little bit of truth that it's grounded in, but it's a character.
Right.
He's portraying something.
Yes.
It's entertainment.
Yeah.
If he was really doing all this shit that he was saying, he wouldn't be in a studio laying down tracks. He'd be in fucking jail.
No, he wouldn't.
So I think that's a ridiculous argument that people try to say he wasn't real and shit. Like you've heard people say that.
Definitely. I've heard Tupac say that when he was alive, and that video for Ain't Nothing But a Gangsta Party, he totally makes fun of Biggie, and he said that really did happen. Like he walks up to Big and he threatens him like he's gonna shoot him, and Big is like, "Don't shoot me. I'm just a rapper, Pac. I'm just a rapper."
But this is the thing. It's like it's similar to what we were talking about last week with Zeppelin, how they were just so good that you just can't deny it.
Yeah.
He was just so good. You just could not deny it.
You couldn't deny it. And he had Tupac shook. Like, he would make, like, those were friends, you know what I mean, here in New York. First of all, we considered Tupac a New York rapper for a long time until he ended up going to jail, and he came back very angry, and I feel like he was a little diagnosed, like probably bipolar and stuff. Probably had issues.
He got bailed out by Suge, right?
Yes, yeah, because he was in jail upstate New York too. Like, because the issue happened here in New York at this club called Nell's that Vin Diesel used to bounce at.
Oh,
yes.
Shout out to Vin. It's all about family.
And I think it's the same. I think Biggie has a video in Nell's. It might be to all the ladies in the place. It might be that one. If it's a black and white checkered floor, yeah. If
I think it is.
Yeah, that's Nell's. That's Nell's. So that's where Tupac's supposed rape happened. So Tupac and Biggie were friends, because I mean, even Tupac did the movie Juice here in New York. He was a New York character. We felt he was a New York rapper. That's how, because I think he was born in Harlem or something like that. But anyway, Biggie had Tupac shook, because he was like, "Ain't that my style that Biggie got right now? Ain't that my clothes that Biggie be wearing right now?" Like, he was becoming undone. Okay, so you have to be really good to make, like, I mean, because Tupac's another legendary rapper, right?
Yeah.
To have somebody like that, like, shooketh.
Right. So, because if Biggie was just some bum, it's like he's not gonna pay him any mind.
Right.
But you can't ignore what he was able to do.
Yes.
Like, he just. I don't even know. I just can't even describe it. Like, and it's funny because if you don't listen to rap music, it's people a lot of times like try to dismiss it, like, oh, it's just violent and blah blah blah. And people don't understand the fucking art and the poetry that goes into this. Yeah. And he is just the top level. Yeah. Like, to this day, it's just like. Yeah. Like, sometimes I'll be listening to Biggie songs. I've been listening to Biggie a lot the past like week or two to get ready for this, and he'll just drop some shit that it's like. It sounds so natural to him, and then you think about it later, and you're like, did he just rhyme 9 times? Yeah. You'd be like, because he'll just come out of nowhere like, now I'm 13, smoking blunts, making cream. Yeah. On the drug scene, fuck a football team, risking ruptured spleens by the age of 15, hearing the coach scream, ain't my lifelong dream. And I'm just like, what? You know what I mean?
He definitely had a knack for it. I don't know if it was a cultural thing, because, people kind of say that hip hop was born in the Caribbean by default, right? Because you got Kool Herc, who came up from Jamaica, and Biggie is Jamaican himself as well, second generation, but he is too. So it's probably just a natural thing for storytelling. For Jamaican music is great. Like, not even just like the hip hop. A little sidebar of it, but just like reggae and all that stuff like that and everything. So Jamaican music is great, good storytelling music. So I could see why Biggie would pick up that knack for it. Yeah, and then he had just have kind of ways of saying things like saying like, and you still recouping, and you think the rhyme is over, and he's like, stupid. Like, so yeah. So funny. Like, I really thought Big was a great artist and one of the best. Even then, and I can remember when nobody knew who he was, and like my older cousins and stuff would listen to underground radio. So that would be like NYU would have a radio station, and the kids that wanted to get into the music business or whatever at NYU, they used to let them run the radio station, but college radio would be on very late. So like, you can only play the music they wanted to play. They could only play it very late, right?
Right.
So they would play it anytime between midnight and like 4 a.m. So sometimes we would just like on weekends we would just put on NYU. I think it's 89 something. I forgot exactly what it was. NYU radio. You just put it on, and it's like your kids, so it's bedtime, so you go to sleep, right? So you go to sleep, but then you'd hear stuff like that would wake you up, and it would be like Party and Bull or something like that, and you'd be like, "Who is this? Who is this guy?" We didn't even know, like, you know. So it's like watching Big's rise was even better than experiencing the end product, like, you know what I'm saying? It was like just watching it happen. There's a local show that's called Video Music Box, and this guy Ralph McDaniel's been running that show since like the 80s, and that's actually where the word shout out was born, like from him. Yeah, it was born right here in Brooklyn. Like now it's worldwide, which is crazy. And so like little shows like that, little clubs and stuff like that, and that back then Biggie was just Biggie Smalls, so it's just like, oh, we got Biggie Smalls here, so people finally got to see him, like, you know, and he kind of looked like what you expected him to look, because he sounds like heavy, right? So it sounds like a big black guy, right? So you expect to see him, and then he's like super charismatic, and he's so huge and stuff like that, and then he brings out Junior Mafia, right? So it's just like the whole Big experience was great, because it wasn't just him, it was the characters around him, it was how Diddy was acting at the time too, like, you know, just like a character.